Hello and welcome. This is Faceless Opinion, fighting for Skyrim's future. Welcome you back to Skyrim Month, the series where we go over Skyrim-related topics throughout the entire month of November. The Civil War, Legion or Stormcloak. Which side am I on? My answer is, I don't care. Besides, I don't care about this questline at all. For me, the Civil War is forgettable. Like, the war is hyped up to be this big deal, while in actuality, it kinda isn't. You go to either Solitude or Windhelm to join the side of your choosing. You have to do a trial to prove yourself, then you get sent to search for the Dragon Crown, something that allegedly is important. Then we get to Battle of Whiterun, where the city is no longer neutral. Then we get to where you have to either reunify or liberate the other holds, mainly by doing something minor like intercepting a message, blackmailing a steward, looting a convoy, or freeing prisoners, followed by attacking a fort, which leads ultimately to the final Battle of Solitude or Windhelm, where you kill the opposing side's leaders, General Rotolius or Ulfric Stormcloak, thus ending the war and determining Skyrim's fate. A lot of the stuff you do within the questline is boring. The only times I really consider it to get good is during the Battle of Whiterun and the final battle. That's it. The missions where you have to prove yourself in are not really necessary since you were at Helgen alongside the higher-ups of both sides when Alduin attacked. I think surviving a dragon attack is more of an impressive feat than killing some bandits or an ice wraith. Besides, with either Hadvar or Ralof, they can vouch for you and your skills. All they would have to do is wait a little while, making the trial meaningless. Though I would say the Dragon Crown is even more meaningless than the initiation. In my worst quest video, I mentioned that this quest is pointless, mainly because the crown is not seen nor mentioned ever again after you deliver it. Makes you wonder what the point of it was. I mean, seriously, imagine this. If during the Battle of Solitude, Ulfric Stormcloak came out and was wearing the jagged crown. That would be epic. It would have been the perfect moment for him. But we didn't get that. While I don't have any issues with minor missions like intercepting messages or attacking convoys, those are fine for the most part, my bigger issue would have to be the fort assaults. Those are just repetitive. While I know I can't have an epic battle in each hold city like Whiterun, but this is just pathetic. Didn't we clear out a fort earlier for the Legion trial? This is just a rehash of that. Only difference is that more enemies get spawned in and you have a few allied soldiers. Whoop-de-freaking-do. I mean, seriously, these are not battles. I've had more interesting fights with bandits than I do during this war. Have more variety of soldiers, like where there are heavy armored soldiers, commanders, cavalry, mages. All we have are regular soldiers and archers. That's it. 10 to 1, all their stats are probably the same, so the entire enemy army are just carbon copies of one another. Then we get to my biggest gripe with the war aspect of the Civil War. It doesn't feel like one. They feel like random fights than full-on battles. I mean, would it kill them to put in some epic battles like in a big field, or give us naval warfare? Maybe instead of trying to take over a hold, maybe we have to defend one. Have the shoe on the other foot. Make those field camps you stumble across the map more relevant than just a one-and-done spot. I can keep going on, but I think you all got the point. The lack of relevancy the Civil War has on the main quest is something that I believe is worth mentioning as well, which I find kinda bizarre because the Civil War is mentioned within the main quest a few times. First would be Alduin's attack on Helgen, while both Ulfric Stormcloak and General Rotolius both being there. Then during the quest Season Unending, where you have to get both sides to agree to a ceasefire so that you can resolve the dragon crisis. Keep in mind that peace negotiation thing is optional. If you complete the Civil War ahead of time, it is skipped. Now, what point do I have mentioning the main story if the main crux of this video is the Civil War? The fact that the Civil War does indeed affect the main story, yet only when it's convenient. It's absurd, really. If you want to have the two questlines to be connected, then properly integrate them. If not, don't have the main story's momentum be derailed by a pointless peace summit that only delays, or in certain cases, prolong the Civil War only to continue it after Alduin's death. There are only two ways you can handle the Civil War. First would be to keep it separate from the main story. Barring the events of Helgen, do not have the two intersect. Hell, don't even mention it. It's odd. It's like trying to get the Companions or the Dark Brotherhood to take a more active part in killing dragons. It's just weird. And the Civil War, as its own standalone thing, you wouldn't really need to change it all that much. Just make the battles more interesting and make the Jagged Crown, I don't know, important? That's option 1. Option 2 would be to properly combine the two. For example, have a quest where Alduin shows up during a battle between the Legion and Stormcloaks, and during that battle, he either revives a dead dragon to fight both sides, or he does it himself. Then you have both Ulfric Stormcloak and General Tullius now having to deal with dragons, which in turn make them come in contact with the Dragonborn, ultimately leading to a peace conference and a truce being made, where both sides put their differences aside, which ends the war. Kinda. Basically, when the main story is over, both sides don't start fighting again, not immediately. The dragons took a toll on both sides, and each one wants to take a moment to replenish and rebuild before shedding any more bloodshed, which would lead to a long armistice. Think of it like a Cold War, or have it to where they are considering possible peace negotiations, although, considering both sides, I don't really think that would work, but hey, it is worth mentioning. The Civil War, as I said earlier, is forgettable. For something that is supposed to shape the future of Skyrim, it doesn't really do that. The only thing that the Civil War questline does is change up who the Jarl is in each city. Most of said Jarls who are replacements are not that interesting, barring 2, maybe 3 people. Whatever, these new Jarls don't really do much. For a place that is ravaged by war, this is incredibly underwhelming. You got boring battles, and the fact that Hadvar or Ralof does not become a proper follower after the war is kinda disappointing. Now tell me, what do you think about the Civil War? If you had to add or change anything, what would it be? Are you a Legionnaire or a Stormcloak? Tell me in the comment section down below. Now, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like and make sure you subscribe for more of that good old Skyrim of content. Now, until next time, I'll catch you all on the flip side.